A hometown gig and a huge crowd. Wind, flat water and lots of pressure. Welcome to perfect Portsmouth. Pumping conditions, short rigs and high-speed foils, plenty of obstacles on the course too, and wall-to-wall sunshine. From a spectator's point of view, it was difficult to imagine better conditions for the second day of the Portsmouth SailGP. But perhaps the weirdest thing was that for those that came or remember last year, it looked much the same. Reliable and consistent conditions are not something that we're used to in the UK, but we'll certainly take it. There were, however, a few things that look very different this time. The split fleet format is a big change and appears to bring a different dynamic to the racing. The second is that the competition isn't just tighter, but the traditional dominance of a few teams seems to have come to an end. I talked to two of the key players about this after the racing. But before we get to that, if you didn't see the racing, here's a quick overview of the weekend. The opening day provided a clue from the start. Forget the form guide and get ready to see some new race winners. The first in this wave was North Star Canada in Group A that took the fireworks at the finish. In Group B, it was a US SailGP team. Meanwhile, the big dogs like the Brits, the Australians and Kiwis could only make mid-fleet. The second race saw better performances, apart from the British who went backwards, only to leap to the front in their fleet race in the final race of the opening day. By which time the front runners on points after the first day saw last year's winners, the Black Foils, leading Group A with North Star Canada and the Spanish in second and third. In Group B, it was Artemis leading the pack with the Americans and Swiss astern.
Yeah, I think we certainly felt as though we weren't delivering and felt a lot of pressure in that last one to come out firing. So we needed it and it was good to deliver, but we need a lot of hard work tomorrow to make sure we get into that final.
Yeah, I mean the group racing's it's just a bit different. You know, a few less boats on the start line. I think today proved it was still pretty hard to pass at times, but yeah, it was nice to get off the line in that last one and take a win.
We nearly had an exceptional day, but we still had a very good one. So yeah, we're stoked with that. Two really solid races, and the middle one was looking equally as solid up until the very last moment on that final downwind where we slipped back to fifth through missing the board lock on one of our flip flops. But yeah, that happens. We're in a good spot, second overall in our group, and yeah, we just have to see how tomorrow goes. But we're happy.
Typical Portsmouth sea breeze day, big breeze, a lot of action, a lot of obstacles in the racetrack. But yeah, for us it was good. You know, definitely feels like we left a lot out there, and we had some issues with the boat today, which is frustrating, especially in our last start. You know, not having any race software. You know, time to start, time to kill, nothing. So yeah, we were on the back foot, but you know, to battle back into races was great.
Sunday saw more breeze that was further round to the west. The opening race in Group A had many wondering whether the Australians had started their comeback as they took a win, while the Germans in Group B made it clear that nothing could be taken for granted as they put on a punchy performance to take their win. But it was race 5 that confirmed the 4 finalists: Artemis, Los Gallos, North Star and Explorer Journeys Swiss. We've been used to seeing the Spanish in the final and have frequently expected the Swedish to be there too. But the standout performances in this race at least were from the Swiss in Group B and the Canadians in Group A. Sadly for home supporters, Emirates GBR were nowhere to be seen in a weekend that had not gone well.
Managed to get on top of the starts, and that was nice to see. So as frustrating as it is there are some little positives to take away from the weekend, but it unravelled after that on both the races.
The start was tight, with Artemis squeaking ahead before stretching their lead. But the threat was to come from the back of the fleet. Despite rounding the bottom gate last on the first beat, the Spanish got into second and then headed offshore to take the lead by the time they got down to the bottom gate for the second time. It was a blistering performance that Artemis had no answer for, as the Spanish went on to take their second event championship in a row. Diego, well done. I mean, 2 in a row. That is quite some achievement.
Yeah, it's amazing to do this on such a strong fleet as SailGP right now. No, we obviously had a nice weekend. Struggled a bit on the starts, but then managed to set really well around the course with our tactics and boat handling, and managed to win again, which is amazing for us.
It looked like a very tricky course out there today, and the breeze was all over, particularly today, the breeze was all over the place. Did it feel like that for you? Yeah. Yesterday the breeze was way more stable because it was coming more from the channel, and today was a bit more right coming off the land. And you could feel this puffiness on it, and it was more important than yesterday to be on the right shift. And it did look from the outside that so many times you just seem to have an extra gear on other people. You just had that extra bit of speed. Is that what it feels like on board? I don't know. I think there's other teams that also have very good speed. This weekend we managed to keep it together, but we had, for example, a good fight with the Aussies in the first race today, and we didn't feel faster than them. So it's been on other things this weekend. As I said, I think we got the whole picture quite together, the tactics, the boat handling and everything, and it felt really good. But as I said, it's very hard in this fleet, and you cannot take it for granted. Going back to the split race format, I asked Nathan Outteridge what he thought, and as always, I got an interesting reply.
When you come to a venue like this where you got really good breeze both days, and I think the split fleets really allow the teams to really race the boats hard against each other. Otherwise, imagine 13 boats on a course that size, it would have been traffic management the whole time. Whereas for us, we felt like it was really good tactical racing, and the shifts today, if you tacked on the shifts at the right time, you'd made big gains. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And in a bigger fleet, you wouldn't have been able to do that?
Well, in a bigger fleet, you just end up having lots of battles, and you make a small game, but then you're into another battle with other boats. Whereas it kind of felt like even if you didn't get a great start in the split fleets, there were still opportunities if you sailed the boat really fast to make gains. And the points, you only get 5 for a win, but it's kind of worth double because you're really trying to fight hard to make the final 2. And I think the race to the final is pretty cool because you get 2 real races going on independently of each other, and for us as sailors it's nice to have a 15-minute break and debrief the race and prep for the next one too.
What's the mood like? I mean, is that the consensus across the fleet, do you think? Is that what others think, or it's opinions split, or what's the mood?
I think the opinions are still a bit split. There's definitely some sailors who are enjoying the split racing. For us, I think it's a lot more like a final, so it means that all your races in the build-up to the final are a lot more relevant, whereas it used to be a huge switch from 13 boats down to 3, and how you prepare for a final versus a fleet race. So, there's some people who are saying they don't really like it, but I think that's the future. SailGP announced that's the future moving forward, and that's what it's going to be for seasons to come. So, like sailors, we just got to get on with whatever the rules are and find the way to do the best in it.
And does it change the tactics? Does it change the way that you approach the racing at all, other than being able to get into clear air easier?
Changes the starts quite a bit, with less boats on the start line. Sure, the start line reduces in size, but it feels like the starts are a bit more high-speed starts. Previously there'd be a lot of starting H1, front row, trigger pulling into a takeoff, whereas now it feels like boats are entering the start later, but then coming back at the line a lot faster. And, I think that's, it looks better on TV, I think, and I think it's, more fun for us to keep the boat at a high speed in the pre-start. And then around the track, it's interesting, like often you're in that attack defense mode, and yesterday there was a lot of people didn't want to lose the position that they're in, so there was a lot of defending, whereas today with a few more shifts people were really attacking the course, and you could see some good passing happening.
Yeah. The other thing that struck me watching it here was there's an awful lot of obstacles on the course. Maybe they weren't quite as significant today as they were yesterday. How do you view that sort of size? Do you think that's a good thing and that it sort of brings some other challenges to it, or are they just a pain in the arse to have a great big concrete fort out there and a few poles and some cardinal buoys?
I think it's a pain in the arse and extremely dangerous, if I'm honest. They should try and find us race courses without all those obstructions in there. It's hard enough to sail the boats and race other boats at the best of times, but remember back a few years ago, and Tom Slingsby ran over one of our finishing marks that were in the course because he had one boat on either side and he ended up running over it. Imagine if you hit a net or channel marker doing that. So you know, it's the nature of coming to Portsmouth with the Ford and all the channel markers. But you know, when we were in Bermuda earlier this year, they actually pulled the channel markers out of the water so we could race in a clean water space. And you're not going to ask them to do it here, but for sure you shouldn't have obstacles like that in a race course if you can avoid it. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but yeah, it doesn't seem right to be avoiding, you know, concrete pylons and big channel markers, you know, right in critical spots of the race course.
But for all the changes, there's one thing that's the same, even if I had forgotten it. And that is, when you see these boats at speed in the flesh close to the shore, you're reminded of what 40 knots looks like and what it sounds like. And it's very impressive. By now, I really should know that, but it gets me every time. And finally, if you haven't already seen it, check out my one-to-one interview with SailGP boss Russell Coutts, in which we discuss the state of SailGP, where it's heading, and how the Middle East situation might affect the season going forwards. Next up is the German Sail Grand Prix in Sassnitz. See you then, if not before. Inspired by the success of the resurgent Admirals Cup and Sardinia Cup, the Botin 41 has been designed to be a true dual-purpose racing machine. Taking the smaller Class 2 slot for the next Admirals Cup, the Botin 41 is designed to be as capable racing inshore on windward-leeward racecourses as it is offshore in the Fastnet race. The design builds on their experience in 2025, as well as drawing from their learnings in the 52 Super Series, where they've been dominant. Elements such as freeboard height, cockpit and interior volume have all been fine-tuned. Details such as water ballast, twin versus single rudders, high lift upwind foils versus low drag reaching configurations, and even the use of a stern interceptor have all been under evaluation. And as you would expect, high-end materials and construction techniques will be used throughout. All in all, it's another bold step forward for the proven McConaughey and Botin collaboration. Spinlock life jackets have been at the leading edge of design and quality for over 20 years, but that didn't stop them from looking to move things on even further. The starting point was Spinlock's own pool and a scientifically designed mannequin to ensure consistent results. From there, they tested across a wide range of conditions and configurations to create a new database. A key result was a redistribution of the life jacket's buoyancy. From here, 3D design software and a new manufacturing technique was used to achieve the desired shape. As well as improving performance, this has also reduced the bulk of the life jacket, and as a result, it's more comfortable to wear and easier to repack. Spinlock's well-established pylon and lumon lights are fitted, which greatly improve visibility at night. Also included is the harness release system, which is designed to allow the wearer to detach from the tether under load without having to use a knife. And the overall result is a big step forward.